$150 million in 24 hours. Those are some estimates that I've seen of the revenue Alex Hormozi just generated in a 24-hour period. Now, let's go over how he did this. He had a book launch and it was a live event. So you could basically order the book, you could order 15 books and get some other bonuses. You then could show up to the live event, and then in the live event, you could donate 200 books, 800 books, and you get all these different things. And basically it worked out that he sold like 3 million copies of the book in 24 hours, which is the highest non-fiction book ever sold by like 1.5 million in 24 hours. Unbelievably, like just crazy. A sales and marketing masterclass that will be studied for years. Now, how do you actually relate this to yourself and a financial services business? Because everyone sees all these and they go, I'm in finance, this doesn't apply to me. So let's go to the 3 main things that the Money Models book actually does inside of financial services. So there's number 1, attraction offers, okay? So you've got attraction offers, you've got upsells, you've got downsells, and then you've got continuity, which basically means ongoing, like a monthly or yearly thing. So let's jump into number 1, which is an attraction offer, okay? This is something that, again, I don't see finance brokerages doing at all. We had a similar way of doing this back when I had financial services companies back in 2022, 2023, and 2024. But it also was only probably 20% of everything I've ever done. Maybe no less. 10% of every business I had some kind of front-end attraction offer, which was basically a letter of offer, and you charge them in between $99 and $999 for the actual basically the attraction offer of like that letter of offer. So let's run through some. So I've got some here, so apologies for looking over, but basically if you're a mortgage broker, for example, you get them in the door by doing a debt restructure consultation. This is basically a one-off time where you sit down and you go, perfect, okay, I've got this, you've got a credit card, you've got a personal loan, and you've got a mortgage. So let's consolidate all of those. And this is the plan of how we're going to do it. You charge them $197 up front, which is basically nothing. But what it does is it provides a huge amount of value to the client. And then the next step, it's like, oh, sweet. So this is how you would consolidate it. This is what the result would be. Here are the numbers. And it's like, perfect. It's like, how does that seem? It seems all good to move forward. It's like, perfect. Now you've got to refinance. Like that's as simple as it is, okay? Mortgage, that's now, let's go to business loan. So for example, a funding blueprint, a funding strategy blueprint, this is a little bit harder to sell for sure, but basically it would be a written plan that outlines the available lenders, products, and loan packages. Now, in finance, I can guarantee you, this is such an untapped thing that people don't even realize is a possibility. You charge them $297, and it basically literally outlines how they could choose the best lender. And you think, oh, that's going to take my deal away. Potentially, but why would they then go direct to the lender if you've helped them so much more and you've sat down with them for 2 hours and run over their full business? And you say, like, you can't go with a private, you can't go with an unsecured, you have to go with a private because your income's only $5,000 per month. Like, there are so many methodologies to this that you can implement, okay? Now, let's say you're an insurance broker. You charge them $97 for a policy comparison report, which basically means you quickly give them, and what you'll start to realize about these offers, attraction offers, is it's essentially what you are currently doing in the initial stage. So in the initial stage, you're obviously collecting an application, and then you're kind of like application to settlement, and then you're obviously getting paid. So you split this off and charge for this, and then this part is also then much easier, okay? So the attraction offer is the first part of the sales process of how you get them to basically give you an application, and you collect upfront cash. So now you can reinvest that back into marketing. You can also do a bunch of other things with it, like either draw it out as drawings for your company, so the $97 policy comparison report is basically their current policy, like, perfect, give me all the details on your policy, amazing. And then you tell them, I've got a policy software that basically gives me all the premiums back of what you're going to be able to get, but it doesn't show the names because that's illegal under having an AFSL or something like that. So that's the insurance broker side. Now, that's the first section of basically attraction offers, how you get cash up front in the door so you can reinvest back into marketing, get more people in the door to keep going. And it basically splits up the first and second process into you now getting paid for this and you're getting paid for this. And what you'll find is you'll attract 1, 2, 3 times more the amount of people that are actually now looking for that, because you have such a specialized service of what they're actually looking for that leads them perfectly into the next stage. Okay. Now, upsell and downsells offers. So how do you basically upsell them, downsell them to get more cash? So your main offer, you might be a mortgage broker. Your main offer might be a mortgage refinance. Okay. Now, if you go and refinance the house, you now will know, do they have super for an upsell? Do they want to take that super and invest into a property, a self-managed super property investment? Do they have a property that is an investment property that you want to refi or take cash out? Or are they an investment? Do they have an investment property that they want to buy? So you can now do a home purchase and you can refi with that money and put it into a home purchase. And this is basically different upsell offers that you can have. So how you do it is you have a script and an SOP around when to ask, how to ask, and you basically execute on that. So when to ask, for example, application's done. As soon as the application's done, it's like, oh, perfect. I see you have another property. Amazing. Let's see the equity on that. Oh, you got 300 grand in equity. Perfect. Here are the numbers. I've got this good offer for basically off the plan properties, for example. And we can basically take that 300 grand. We won't do the full 300. We'll go 200, and we can just reinvest that in, and you'll be making $500 a week off this property, for example. And that's an upsell. Like, you got to think of these things like a normal sales process. Finance is sales. Okay, finance is sales. A lot of finance brokers don't want it to be as associated with like a salesperson, but you got to think of it like basic sales things. And if you do the fundamentals well, it will scale. So upsells, downsells. So that's mortgage broker. Now let's think of a downsell. Okay, so a downsell, let's go with, I've got some things here. So let's say, for example, a downsell could be, let's say it was a mortgage refinance, but downsell usually means they can't do that for some reason. So a downsell could be credit repair. Okay, so it's like, perfect. I have a partner, they charge $1,000, and basically you have then a deal with the credit repair partner, and you charge them $1,000 up front, and 500 goes to the credit repair partner, 500 goes to you. And that's a perfect downsell. Then they're going to come back as well. So it's about, first of all, building the relationships with those people, obviously, and then having deals like that. And you might feel unethical about it or something like that. I hope you don't, because there's nothing wrong with helping your client to then get what they're looking for. You're not doing anything wrong. The only difference between persuasion and manipulation is the intent, okay? You're persuading someone positively or you're persuading them negatively. That's manipulation, okay? You are only doing this for the best interest of your client, which means it needs to be seen in your eyes as helping them. If you make an extra $500 per person on 10 people per month, that's $5 grand. Imagine you have 5 brokers. That is now, instead of the 10 grand for the 10 brokers at $1,000 or whatever, and you get half it, so it's $5 grand, and you have 5 brokers, that's $25,000 every month. And like, why wouldn't you want to do that? So that is upsells and downsells. Now, continuity. Okay, how do you get someone ongoing? Now, this is what I don't think I've ever seen someone with a strict process on continuity. Now, you can think of continuity as 2 ways. A lot of people think of it as it's just monthly, but you can also think of it as such a strict process of taking people from one deal to the next, because there's recurring or there's reoccurring. Okay, they're 2 different things. One is a subscription. Okay, so when you have a recurring subscription, it basically is guaranteed every X period of time, whereas Coca-Cola is a reoccurring purchase, someone that comes back consistently. I don't know how many Cokes or Pepsis and things like that I bought, but it's a lot, okay? In my life, it's been a lot. So like, that's a reoccurring product. So you can have a perfect process that goes perfect. At month 3, this thing happens, and you have to set a sales process around it, because think about how hard you work. Think about, this is the frame to think of it. How hard do you work to get that initial deal from a lead that comes off a digital platform? Imagine how hard that is, and you make 3 grand. And then all you have to do is put half the amount of effort of what you've just put so much effort through to now make the same 3 grand. And what I see is people don't even think of it as half the effort. They put in 1/10, 1/20th of the effort. And I'm not trying to call you out by saying this, but I guarantee you watching, it's probably that. You do not put in the same amount of effort you put in to getting the new lead to now getting them on a second thing. And remember, this is all for the best interest of the client, okay? So Another way that you can do it is the reoccurring. So the recurring is, for example, mortgage broker. You basically have a set mortgage review in 1 year from now, and you charge them a fee of $197 to $297. Okay, seems crazy, but it's like perfect. What this includes is me basically updating you every 6 months. So I take a look at your loan account and make sure that's good. And then on top of that, we review in 1 year from now. It's only $297, and that's basically it. There's nothing else that you're getting charged for. That's basically it. Now, if you're a business loan broker, you have basically quarterly reviews of their business finance, and it's $97 a quarter, for example. Now, imagine, think of it like this, on how big of an opportunity it is to add something like this. Let's say you have 50% of people that take you up on it, because these offers should be amazing. They should hear what you say and go, and you need to have the backing behind it. So if you're a mortgage broker, for example, easiest to do, so sorry for keeping using this example, but if you're a mortgage broker and you can show them that on average every 6 months someone is losing $5,000 over the term of their mortgage because they don't review and check their interest rate, you literally go and you say, sweet, so they're probably going to get another $5,000 off you when they raise it systematically, so I'm going to keep it down by going back to the bank and making sure they're obviously not raising on you, which I'm sure you guys know banks do all the time. They consistently raise rates of existing clients to make more profit. It's pretty classic. But basically you say, sweet, they're going to charge you about $5,000-10,000 more over the first kind of 10-15 years or whatever it is, and literally I'll make sure that stays down. It's only going to cost you $197 a year. That's it. And imagine you sign right now. So you're a solid brokerage, you've got 5 people and 3 of them are brokers, and they each do, let's say, $5 million a month. So that's 15 million. Now that's about 10 loans each. So that's 30 clients a month. That's 360 a year. Imagine, I'm going to quickly do the math. So 360 a year, 360 times a 197 recurring yearly. You now make an extra $70,000 per year. Now it doesn't seem like much, but imagine you now just don't even do anything. And then first year, 70,000. Second year, we're going to do 720. And it's 140. You literally do this for 3 years and you're making $200,000 from recurring from your loan book. You would be in a very good position. If you got to 1,000 clients doing this, you'd be making over $200,000 in just these recurring. And then on top of that, and that's not even including the fact of you actually, let's say you also did a higher, you can charge them more. You don't have to stop at 197. Okay. So think about the math, the opportunity that you're potentially leaving on the table, and how to execute this. It's absolutely crazy with some of these things that Alex Hormozi released on how beneficial they are to so many companies. So let's go over it again. Attraction offers, upsells and downsells, and continuity offers, okay? It gives you more upfront cash. It gives you the ability to make more per client, and it also allows you to then have an ongoing book of basically a recurring thing every single week, every single month, every single year. Okay. Hope that was valuable. Hit the like button, comment if you want to know something about this more, ask any questions, and subscribe. And I'll speak with you soon.